Hi, I'm Erica from AccuQuilt.
And I'm Edita Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts.
We've been having such a great time with your Go Cube Serendipity today, and I think you've got one last project to show us.
Oh, I can't stop. Once you get your cube, you're not going to be able to stop creating and having fun, and it's springtime, so I'm excited about some flowers and some baskets.
Perfect.
Let me show you what I have here. This wonderful little quilt has 6 blocks. Each block is a basket block with flowers in it, and each block is different. It's a great idea for using it as a block of the month or block that you will do it yourself. You can ask your local stores to help you choose the fabric, or you can create a little kit for yourself. And what I like to do, I make my own little kits. I always put my background and prep it by pressing it with best press, and I put a nice variety of fabrics. In this case, I put 8 different fabrics in each package, fabrics that would remind me of flowers, leaves, blooms, something happy that would grow in a spring.
What a great way to keep organized.
When I proceed into making my quilts, by having it organized so nice and having the pieces pre-cut, I just go ahead, cut it with my baby Go and my dies, and we're going to use flower dies, my simple, beautiful branches and leaves, and we're gonna use a nice basket to fill it up. When I open my kit, I pull the fabric that I desire to use for that particular block. So in this case, let's do a little geranium. That's the block right here in a quilt. So first, I'm going to pull out my fabrics. Like I said, I'm gonna need a brown for the baskets. I'm gonna need some greens for leaves and branches.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna need some reds and pinks and yellows for the flowers. So this multicolor one is gonna work great, and this red behind here works wonderful too. The first step that I'm gonna take is press my fabric and add fusible webbing. This is the technique that I'm gonna use to complete my block. I'm gonna fuse my pieces in place. Once I add a fusible webbing to my 6-inch squares, I'm gonna go ahead and use my die and cut it. Let me show you some of the cutting. So you can pull the paper away right away, or because I'm gonna only select few pieces from what I'm cutting, I'm gonna leave the paper. The paper will protect my pieces if they're sitting in a baggie and waiting for my next project. And I'm gonna place this right here. I'm hoping for some fun reds and pinks and yellows. See those colors right here? So I position it over those bloom right here, this little flower. All right, I'm so excited about it. I'm gonna put my mat. The mat is included in your cube. Erica, I should give you a turn.
I know.
But I love my baby.
I
I don't
know
want to
you
give you a
do.
turn. Not this time, maybe next time.
Okay. You'll just have to come back for more projects.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. So right now, I just pull it away. Notice it, how all the pieces are just sticking right here, so I can slip them into a baggie for next project, maybe next block. But this block right here, I was looking for this wonderful little flower to add to it. So I'm gonna leave those here, and I'm gonna start lining pieces up. I have my basket already cut, I have my leaves cut, and now my handle, and now I'm just adding a little flowers to the top. And just because in my pattern that it's included in your cube, I have 6 blooms on the flower, does not mean to stop you from cutting. You can cut as many as you want and add them to it. Fill up your bouquet beautifully and create. Once I have all my pieces cut and they're in desired places, I take an iron and press them in place. Remember to always position your basket 1 inch away from the bottom edge, and make sure that your background is cut 9 inches by 10 inches and 5/8. That measurements will work great with your sashings and cornerstone that I will show you in just a little bit.
Perfect.
Well, once this block is completed, it's ready for a quilt. But maybe you want to do something different and you want to use just 1 block at the month.
I love this look with the wool.
Isn't it wonderful? Yes, so what I did is I actually took a nice selection of wools and did the same thing. I cut it with my dies and start lining it up, and what I'm going to do is use handwork to finish.
I love
For
that.
this block, we're gonna use machine and zigzag blanket or button stitch. For this one, what I'm planning is nice handwork like French knots, maybe little blanket stitch around the basket.
It'll be
I
adorable.
know you like those.
Yes, I do. It'll be like a framed picture.
And exactly, when I finish this block, I'm planning to just put a nice little frame on it, something primitive, something fun. But for this block,
move that
right here, we're gonna need something more. We're gonna make a sashing and cornerstone and complete our quilt with those beautiful, colorful finishes. So what I need to do is, remember those leftover fabrics we had from our kit? I kept them all to the side, and from those fabrics, using my dies from the cube, both of those dies come in a cube. This is my quarter square triangle for my Ohio star, and those are my little squares. They are gonna be perfect for my cornerstones. I'm going to use the die and cut right here those wonderful fabrics for a great pieces that I can put it together. I'm gonna move this to the side. And you know, I'm gonna take a step back for just a moment because I just noticed my flower die and I did not show you this.
You didn't, and I really want to see it cut that wool.
Oh, I would love to do it. You know, it's here on a table. When I cut wools, I pre-cut to a smaller pieces or I cut it from a whole sheet. Because I needed a nice variety of flowers for our block, the block is right here. I want to add some. So let me add maybe a little orange flower to the top someplace here. All that I'm gonna do, and you can layer as many as 2 layers. Wool is a little bit thicker, so you can't go with 4 layers.
Right.
It's just too much. So what I'm gonna do is just put 1 or 2 layers at a time, put my board right over.
Perfect.
Oh, you're gonna love this. Do you know, I have cut wool for quite a while now, and it's so much harder to cut it with scissors by hand.
It is.
Yeah, this gives you an option if you don't want it to. You don't have to use fusible webbing. You can just cut
Look
it.
at that
Look at this
perfect
perfect little
little
flower
flower.
because the wool is felted, so no edges will fray, and you can add it to your beautiful bouquet anywhere here. Let me shift
And how quick and easy.
here,
just to
and
have
it
a
fills
whole
it really
bouquet.
nice. Isn't that beautiful?
Thank you for showing me.
You're welcome. Okay, back into sashing now. So remember, we're gonna use our 2 dies to cut our pieces, the square one and the quarter square triangle. So we're gonna cut those, and I already cut just few of them for us. We have learned how to cut them also with Ohio star, and I'm gonna grab 1 color one and 1 background one and place them right sides together and then sew it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Remember to create a little startup piece for yourself, so that way you can create a nice chain. I have few of those done right here. Next step, I'm gonna take them to my ironing board and I'm gonna open them up just like this. Look at this, I beautifully open it up, pushing my seam allowance towards the dark. As soon as I finish that part, I'm going to sew them together.
Perfect.
To set like this, and open the center right here. All those little stitches, open them up just the seam allowance center to create a one beautiful spin in the center
Really
of your
cut
loaf.
down on your bulk that way.
It does, especially if you're gonna quilt this by hand.
Right.
You want it to have it done very nicely. Your block, your little broken dish block, is ready to put into the quilt and used as a sashing. I'm going to use squares for my cornerstone and my little pieces right
Just
here
perfect.
to make sashings. And I have 6 of the units this way and 5 of the units this way. Once you line them up and you are pleased with the look, and when I line mine up, I pay attention to green, waves to yellow, through pink, through
look.
red, and that's how the color keep going and creating a little rainbow chain around your beautiful block. So don't rush through this. Make enough of them so you can play and have colorful, beautiful little sashings. Once I have them laid out and I'm pleased with it, I'm gonna sew them to sets of 6 and sets of 5. Push the seam allowance in one direction, and then I'm going to go ahead and start sewing my quilt. This will be my first row of blocks and sashing, another row of just sashing, another block, sew rows together, and then sew my borders onto it, push my seam allowances, and finish with binding after the quilt is quilted. I hope you enjoy spending some time today with me. Please don't hesitate to rewind and play this video over and over for help, and don't forget to email me or call me if you need any questions. I'm so happy you enjoyed the cube, and I hope to see a lot of beautiful projects.